I was swimming with manatees. The sun was out. There was sand everywhere. Why do we all still live in places that make us so cold? Seth, I figured you would at least know.
If I had an answer to that, my life would look very, very, very different. And now
I just found out that I can balance this little manatee plushie on my microphone, so my mood just got a little bit better. Look at that little guy.
Gray. You know what can get you through? You know what can get you through a gray and depressing day in Kansas City? Why don't you tell him, Josh?
How about a little edition of
Only Weird Games?
Only Weird Games. Yeah,
wow, where's Tucker today? Honestly.
Only Weird Games.
This is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
It's a little silly, but we got prime time in Lambeau, and then not prime time against Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi.
No, it's got to be Bailey Zappi. No, 1 o'clock. They could have. Honestly, the NFL should have said at 8 o'clock, Bailey Zappi versus Patrick Mahomes. If you want to be there, be there. If you don't, we cool. We good with it. I mean, Bailey Zappi, Patrick Mahomes, 6 a.m. Like, what is the opposite of prime time? Breakfast.
They've done that too. The best game of the year was at the opposite of prime time. It was at 8:30 in the morning being played on a different continent. So I don't know what to do with that. I just know that if you missed the news of the day,
yes,
Monday Night Football, Chiefs Patriots, now Sunday at noon. Do you know how despicable you must be at football to get the NFL to say, no, we don't want Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and maybe Taylor Swift on ESPN. Nope. Give us the Seahawks.
I personally am just a little bit disappointed because I figured it would be Zappi. And
it is.
You know
Don't
what?
Worry, it'll be Zappi. Don't worry.
The Raiders, but I just love the Raiders messed with it a little bit. Spags versus young quarterbacks is just my favorite thing because you see just the giant eyes like, I am seeing all of these looks for the first time. Cover one up to 6? There's a 6? I thought there were only 4 of them. Why is that corner dropping into that passing lane? It's so funny. Every single time, it's like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to line 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, and we're going to drop 2 of them into coverage, and it'll be Derek Nottie and Chris Jones. And like the defensive coaches are sitting there like, are you sure, Steve? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. And then so usually it works. Sometimes, you end up with Derek Nottie making a tackle in space. Or not making a tackle in space. But it's always so funny, and that's the one thing that would be so much fun when they're on national television against a young quarterback. And hey, shout out to Aiden O'Connell, who performed pretty well. We talked about that earlier.
Didn't turn the ball over. Good job, son.
He didn't turn the ball over. He found the guy who was hot and had the right protections the majority of the time. I think that was more the OC than him doing the work there. But usually it's so funny because one of my favorite things is, and this is something that just can't get replicated anywhere else. It's 82 degrees tomorrow. It's 74 degrees right now in Treasure Island, Florida. 82 tomorrow. We're getting some comment section updates. You are being attacked online, Josh.
Yeah. Look, can we get just a snow game at 6 a.m. local time Boston? Even before CBS Today, NFL Today, or whatever the show's called, just like, hey, this is on public broadcast television. PBS will show you Chiefs Patriots 6 a.m.
I think that would be great. I like a PBS game.
But the thing that can't get replicated, almost any experience, is like the live Twitter experience when something crazy's happening, right? And you get to see everyone react, not just your Chiefs people, but like national people. And I love seeing people react to Mahomes. That's so much fun. I love seeing people react to Andy Reid when he's in his bag. That's always a lot of fun. But Steve Spagnuolo was like a close third to that because when he starts doing things, all of film Twitter who has this like abiding love for Spags because he is who he is. He's been that dude for 20 years. He's really good. He's really creative. And he won't stop doing the same thing 20 years later. It's like, oh man, dang it, that zero blitz resulted in a 30-yard gain. I'll bleep and do it again. He just, the very next down, just over and over, pushing the same button. And the way people love that, or like when he dials up some weird, it's like, well, on this side of the field, they're playing man match. And on this side of the field, they're playing a pure variant of cover 6. And it's like, what? Like, you can't play both. And it's like, oh, I'm going to do it. You can do that, right, Legarius? Yeah, you can do that. And it's so much fun. So I'm going to miss that. And, come visit anytime. You know what? Florida it is. January 3rd through the 12th, I'll be in Florida. And I'm going to send you guys so many beach pictures.
Can I add one of my favorite things of
Be closed this time, all right?
coverages?
Look, I am who I am.
One of my best parts about Steve Spagnuolo coverage quirks
Yes.
is when the nickel cornerback, usually, let's just say Trent McDuffie, and this has only happened like every now and then, but it's when Trent McDuffie has at least demonstrated to the opponent that day, or there's enough of it on film to say, like, look, that guy might be coming. You know, he's near the line of scrimmage and he's creeping. And then the way they sort of roll coverages or disguise looks in the pre-snap is, okay, the lineman has either pointed to him or the quarterback's taking a quick glance and notices him. Okay, we all know what we're supposed to do, right? All right, let me call out the signals one more. Where is he going? What? Where is he? What? Now he's the deep third?
Yeah.
Yes,
What?
he's the deep third.
He just
Like,
rotated to a cover 2 safety spot?
like, why? For you're telling me he could have blitzed near the line of scrimmage, and now he's sprinting, being the deep third. Like,
and now
what?
the left tackle, have nothing to do.
Yes, like,
oh,
nowhere to
look,
go.
they overloaded the other side with 6 guys, and here I stand. This is embarrassing. It's so fun. I love it.
Yeah.
So I like seeing, especially film Twitter, react to Spags, because I learn stuff too. Like, you know, like you'll see like Matt Bowen say something about it. I'm just like, I didn't even realize that he did that. Like, it's fun. But I'll be honest, as people, I'm curious, I can't remember if we've talked about this before. As people who cover the Chiefs, do you like primetime games from a coverage perspective?
I can tell you what my editor thinks. Mike Samson would like to be in bed or like to have a normal life. And I said, guess what, man? Welcome to the Chiefs. Like, welcome to the Chiefs beat. You know, so it's fascinating for, I think, most of America to enjoy primetime games. And you should, especially if your team's on a spotlight stage. But, you know, as I've written before, the Chiefs have been on any time zone possible. Not, you know, the one home game at noon. It's on Christmas Day. That's how good your team is. They're on Christmas Day, noon. It's the only noon home game we can find for you. Like, you know, so look, wherever they put the team, the league knows that the team's going to get a pretty big rating. So it actually benefits CBS more so than like ESPN, because ESPN just got its hit. I mean, ESPN was like, did you see those numbers for Chiefs Eagles?
Yeah.
Almost. Can we get Eagles? Can we get more 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 Eagles?
Yeah.
Eagles Seahawks. What?
Yeah. Does anyone cheer? Does anyone cheer for the Eagles? Yeah. No. I totally hear. I was just curious. For me, I actually kind of enjoy. I like the 3:30 kickoffs because more people are watching, and so you get that real time experience. But I can still write an article before the end of the night without staying up till 3 a.m.
Well, Seth, listen, you mentioned the deep and abiding love that film Twitter has for Steve Spagnuolo. And speaking of deep and abiding love, Tucker hit the graphic. We need to tell you about the Soul of KC holiday raffle and toy drive. This is the time to go ahead and lock in and sign up. You can get a ticket for $20, 5 tickets for $50, 15 for $100, or 25, and an extra gift for $150. And all proceeds throughout this entire thing. KCSN's done this now. This is the 3rd annual Soul of KC holiday raffle and toy drive. This is our first time being a part of it here as Only Weird Games. And we have a special role we get to play this year, which I'm very excited about. But all the proceeds for this go towards purchasing presents for Operation Breakthrough. And you can, there's several places. If you go check out the KCSN socials, if you miss any of this now, or if you're listening on the podcast, you want to click a link, I'll give you some URLs here. But it's all over the KCSN socials right now. But here's what you can do. You want to purchase tickets to the raffle, again, with all those proceeds going towards Operation Breakthrough. You can get tickets at GiveButter, not Better. I thought maybe it was a typo, so I checked it myself when I first saw the graphic. BUTTER.com/KCSN Soul, SOUL, or you can Venmo directly at KC Sports Network on Venmo. And we are going to draw the winners right after this show on Monday, December 11th. And those prizes are going to include full-sized signed helmets from Derek Johnson and also one from Travis Kelce, some mini signed helmets from Trent McDuffie and a Chris Jones jersey, a George Karlaftis jersey, a Patrick Mahomes signed mini helmet, a ton of stuff. You can check it out. Again, look at all the prizes across the KCSN socials. I just read you about a third of them. And really, you can also get to a Holiday Distillery and have a tour and a tasting with the master distiller and BJ Kissel. And if that alone isn't enough to get you in, I figured the master distiller was BJ Kissel, but I asked for some further clarification, and Tucker just said that BJ's part of the package there. So check it out across any of the KCSN socials or givebutter.com/KCSN Soul or Venmo at KC Sports Network. Take it for $20, 5 for 50, etc. And then we'll draw the winners after the show on Monday, December 11th. It's a great cause, a great thing KCSN's been doing for a few years now. I'm really excited to be a part of the third edition of it. So thanks for hearing us talk about that and seeing what you could do to get in. They did some great stuff with the last couple of years. You can also check out. We'll try to maybe retweet out some of the videos and stuff because it's really cool. I'm really looking forward to being a part of it this year. With that being said, fellas, looking forward to hopefully getting involved there and we'll have a good time announcing the winners. But we can talk about football now if we'd like as well. We pretty much dissected that Raiders game, I think, decently well on Monday, despite the fact that I had not rewatched the opening drives because I was trying to get a hook out of a bird's beak at that time. But I went back through again since then, and it's one glimpse back at some of the offensive things. I just wanted to get your guys' take on this, and then we can hop over to the defensive side, look ahead to the Packers, and see where we go from there. I was a little bit hesitant on Monday to be like super excited about the Chiefs offense being fully fixed. It's a building block. It's some good stuff, good foundational things. But going back through the things that went wrong offensively early in the game, I don't know if you guys have done the little diagnostic of what set them behind the sticks.
Go ahead.
I thought it was kind of funny that on those first couple of drives, it was the blown up screen to Isaiah Pacheco, just 11 yards out of the gate, just tank.
2nd and 21 is bad.
It's
There's
not
a lot
ideal.
of plays for that.
That's something else I learned from film Twitter, but they're like 2nd and 21, not very good.
Especially when you're in your first 15. Just because when you're in the first 15, you're not going to deviate.
That's not in the script? That's not in the script you're saying?
No, yeah. Okay. All right, guys, what we're going to do, play one. I want you to catch the ball, fall down 11 yards back, which that's not what he did. He fought like crazy, but I mean, it was just,
It's what happens. Second drive, it's a blown up screen to Rashee Rice that gets a yard, leaves you at 3rd and 8, and the 3rd and 8's the deep shot, nobody home. Justin Watson, I think, was the closest one there. And then the third drive started with Rashee Rice dropping a screen. This to me was emboldening because I looked at all of that and I went, oh, that's all the stuff that just worked later in the game. It was still all screens and horizontal stuff. It just that they executed those and didn't have drops or missed blocks or whatever as they did in those first couple of very, very short drives. With the benefit of a little extra time to go back, and then Nate also hearing from pressers this week, got coordinators today per usual on Thursdays. Is there any other lesson to take from the Chiefs offense here, or am I being too negative for no good reason?
No, it's fine, Josh. The thing that is quiet, that is not getting a ton of exposure, is that when their blocking is precise and consistent, they have a really good chance of scoring points. Now, what's fascinating is like you look at the numbers and you say, well, did they have an actual quality running game, production wise? And I would still say that the answer is yes, even though Pacheco's numbers aren't like astounding, or it's not like what he did against, say, the New York Jets, one of the better defenses at the time in that season. So like Pacheco has 15 carries for 55 yards, but you also have to remember 2 of those are on 1-yard carries. So from a success rate, it's still pretty well. And I get the sense that, when Donovan Smith and Jawan Taylor play up to their capabilities, the offense is pretty good. And if Trey Smith doesn't hold, the offense is good. And yes, if Rashee Rice catches the ball, the offense is good. It's just tough to have such a bad start and then all of a sudden become like the best version of yourself. But Andy sort of alluded to it yesterday that they kind of needed that moment to just sort of remind themselves and sort of prove on tape that, yes, we can do that in a pinch. Something that I said before the Dolphins game, like I was concerned about, hey, if this offense is down 2 scores, do they have the offense capable to get back in the game? Now it helps doing that in the first or early second quarter versus second half, but they at least passed that version of the test. So I get the sense that as long as they continue to rely on Isaiah Pacheco, they're going to have a nice floor, a nice baseline for their offensive production, which was not the case early in the year when I felt like they were giving too much to Patrick Mahomes or they were asking too much of a plethora of receivers. Now, as Seth said last episode, are they going to go back to just play 4 receivers, man? I don't know if they're going to do that in Lambeau Field. I don't know. You don't know either. I'm pretty sure Matt Nagy wants to get more people involved, but hey, Isaiah Pacheco's right there. So if they just want to, it would be advisable to say, look, let's see what worked in the last game and let's try to replicate that against a slightly different opponent, although not a great defensive opponent, but they got NFL guys on that team. So why don't we see if that's translatable from 1 week to the next? But who am I? I'm not the offensive coordinator, and use Isaiah Pacheco.
Seth, what do you think?
I think that it'll be really interesting to see the game after for Rashee Rice. I think it's been so unusual for us to see during the Andy Reid era a legitimate quote-unquote breakout game from a rookie wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And 107 yards isn't like an insanely productive day. It's a really good day, though, right?
Yes.
If you had 17 of those, you'd have 1,700 yards. That's a lot of yards. Math. Anyway, I'm sorry. Sometimes as I'm talking, and this is just as I'm talking, I hear a voice in my head, and it's my voice going, yeah, great point, moron. That's good. Good. You're really helping the people out. Good job, Seth. That's excellent. And it's
sorry,
bad.
Seth. That's actually my voice. I just covered my mouth. You can't see me saying that,
Yeah.
but it is actually me.
That's why it only happens.
Everyone can hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. It started 3 or 4 years ago, only during certain. Anyway, so we've never seen though really an actual breakout game from a rookie wide receiver. So here's an example. Mecole Hardman, there was all these graphics about the first 11 games of a rookie wide receiver in the Andy Reid Chiefs era, and Rashee Rice is at the top. And Mecole Hardman's not too far behind him.
Right.
And
there was no Tyreek Hill, by the way, due to injury.
Right.
For large portion.
And his role was just a little bit goofy his first year because he had to learn how to play wide receiver in the NFL, honestly. And regardless of whether he was able to learn how to do that in a place where he won the Super Bowl isn't as good as the team he's on now. I mean, whatever. Here's the thing with Mecole Hardman, though. No, I'm going to burn past it. I refuse to do it. No,
go ahead.
Guys, you just listen. I'm gonna start producing live more, just so we don't. You gotta let me take a break before we start talking about what Tyreek Hill is doing.
Oh,
on air both.
I'll show you what he's doing. Do you want me to show you what he's doing? No, we'll do that later. Okay.
Okay.
No, it's fine. No, if we do it now, it's fine. But we need to at some point take a break. But what is Tyreek?
Okay. Here's an exact imitation.
I read Tucker's comment, Josh. So you know.
That's fine. Yeah. I just want to make sure.
I will give an exact impression of what Tyreek Hill is currently doing, and then we can go to break. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
All right. Here, hang on. Let me make sure.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
So, what were you saying, Josh?
At some point, this feels like bullying. It's fine. Now we're all good. That's the only break we have to take all show. We're good now. You guys can dope around. I put my cards on the table. I said, we can do this right after the break. And then you said, I want to do it now. So I said, okay, we'll break. That was your fault. I can't believe you didn't see that one coming. Because that was, I told you I was doing it.
I mean, it was, you're supposed to adjust your route.
Like, to be honest,
after the snap, Seth, you're supposed to adjust your route to the defense to dodge. And yet you continue to run the route on the page. And we know that's not how you're supposed to run a route as a receiver.
I get more dopamine out of the comment section when that bit lands than I do in any other spot in my life. It fills me with great joy. But I have been thinking, well, eventually water's going to run dry here because it's the same bit every time. And that time I put like marquee lights around it. Like, Seth, here comes the break. Let's take a break. And you still were like, no, Josh, I want to step on this rake and have it pop up and hit me in the face.
I honestly, I didn't even mean to do that. That is so funny. I have not been this consistently dunked on by a repeated bit. And we've been doing this together for a while. There's been plenty of times where I've got. But this is like just getting embarrassing. Like, legitimately. Like, my wife's going to be watching this. Like, I wonder what that guy from the gym's number is. Like, there's no way he'd let that happen to him 6 times. That was so funny. And like, I just didn't even see it coming. And I
real.
keep not.
It's real, Noah. It's real.
This is a comment that I've also been expecting. It's Noah says in the comments here live. You can watch the show live now, by the way. Noah says, I'm torn between the funniest thing ever and this can't actually be real. Noah, I feel.
It's real.
That's what I'm thinking when I'm sitting there laughing. Like, how did I do that? Like, Hugh Jackman would never let something like this happen to him. Neil, thank you for comment. Yeah, my Seth's Madden awareness is single digits. I know ball. I don't know breaks. I don't know how I don't see it. You skipped an episode. You did it to Nate.
Yes. Right.
And I was like,
right.
It was fun while it lasted. Right. And honestly, it just wasn't even in my head because I had my own in mind that I don't want to do anymore.
So Seth, what's Tyreek Hill doing? We're done talking about the Chiefs offense.
I was just gonna say shrilly in a childlike voice, pay attention.
No, just do the bit. No, Seth. No more breaks. Seth. There's no more breaks. I want you to do the bit.
I may never talk on this show again.
All right. Come on.
No, okay. No, that's so funny. Oh, that made me laugh so hard. My side still hurts. Anyway, seriously, this is exactly what Tyreek Hill said this time about the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to me. Pay attention. That's it. And look, Tyreek Hill's a great player, awesome player. He's been terrific. Gonna probably go to the Hall of Fame, and deservedly. He's great. But honestly, he doesn't even believe the things he's saying at this point. He's saying all kinds of random garbage, just whatever pops into his head at the time. He doesn't even mean it, and that's fine. But I'm not going to pretend that it's not disingenuous.
Can we summarize this, Josh?
Disingenuous, I think, would be the word.
Yeah, thank you. Can we summarize what Tyreek Hill has said about his former employer?
Please do. Yes, please do.
After losing to the Chiefs in a game where he was a direct result of the game-winning touchdown, for his former opponent or for his former employer, Tyreek Hill said, well, this is the new rivalry in the AFC.
Yeah. He doesn't even believe that. He doesn't even believe that.
A few days ago, he was on a set with Paramount, I believe, Paramount Plus. Shout out to them. Maybe, who knows? In which he said,
Are they doing a documentary on fights at the docks or?
No.
Oh, okay. I just wasn't sure.
Tyreek Hill said his team, the Miami Dolphins, who are good and who are under the brightest of lights, the lights that I love to feast upon. There he is. There's that in-season colossally it will go bad Hard Knocks special edition. Yes. Why do teams continue to agree to be on Hard Knocks when the in-season Hard Knocks has gone this way, ladies and gentlemen? I know this is a sidebar within a sidebar, but Carson Wentz got COVID and the whole season went to hell for the Colts. And the Cardinals are the Cardinals. And their quarterback's ACL while trying to keep their season slightly alive. So the Miami Dolphins, which Tyreek Hill says, look, this team is better than the 2019 Chiefs team that went to the Super Bowl, that won the Super Bowl. I'm just, if I could just be real with y'all, I feel like this team is more talented and better than the team that beat a historically good defense in the San Francisco 49ers because they had Tyreek Hill. And then on Robert Griffin's podcast, this man said he didn't want to be the side chick anymore to the bromance that is Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. He said,
he's clearly joking-ish.
Yes, but
with like a kernel of truth. But it's just like, dude,
say
isn't he like
anything
30
right now.
now?
And he could say anything right now, and I'd believe him about the Chiefs. Anything. I don't know what the comments would say.
You would believe that he would say anything
about the Chiefs. Anything,
right?
Anything.
You wouldn't believe that what he said was then true, but you would believe that he had said anything.
Not that we need to make this live podcast.
Do you guys think? Hold on, I'm sorry.
Show?
I got a new one. Now we're playing the game show now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You opened the door before you even said game show. I was like, no. Here's mine. I think we are. This is a pretty big swing. This is like $600.
Okay.
I think we're within 6 months of Tyreek Hill saying it all began to collapse when the Chiefs drafted his replacement, McCole Hardman.
Oh, that's 1,000,000%.
There's a take.
1,000,000% that's going to happen at some point.
Just put it in
well, not acknowledging why said McCole Hardman was on the team.
Sorry, Nate. That would require a kernel of self-awareness, and I don't think we're going to get that.
No, this is the same guy that said he wasn't getting targeted enough in a year. He got targeted.
Hold on. It's a franchise record.
It was like 700 times. By the way, these are just some notes I took here, Josh, of people that I need to call back. Well, I should probably be careful about how visible that is.
I've reported this on this podcast, I believe.
I don't respect the red line.
Tyreek Hill, again, in a season where he had the franchise record in targets and receptions, said, I got to get the ball more. Would come back to the huddle and say, I got to get the ball more. Can you imagine?
And that's,
And an all-world future Hall of Fame player who is still, and I love that. Who is the narrator for Hard Knocks? Is it Lee Schreiber? Is that right? Where Lee Schreiber says, and is still the fastest man in the NFL. And I was like, of course he is. He's got a bajillion yards.
Yeah. He's a great player.
He's an incredible player, but
he's going to be also such a good FS1.
Yes, he's also becoming
the minute he retires.
He's becoming an elite quote right now. Like, not to the degree of Frank Clark, because what was always pure about Frank Clark was like the intentions were good, and like it was him having a personality that you really felt, because you knew every time Frank said something or needed to feel like he had to say something, it was genuine and honest and like, kind of to the point. What Tyreek's doing is just, again, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I brought this upon us because I've been sending out these clips of being like, man, this is the last thing I'm going to say about this, because I was like, we need to talk about this because Tyreek Hill was just amazing. Again, the game show, if you're still with us on YouTube right now live, is insert a quote that Tyreek Hill would say about the Chiefs that I would 100% believe today. It could be anything. This man said he was the side chick in an all-time NFL historic trio that I compared at one point to the NFL's modern version of the Cowboys. Troy Aikman, for obvious reasons, even though I know he has his own sort of feelings about all of us. Michael Irvin, elite Hall of Fame receiver. And They were the version of that. Only it's a passing league, so you have 2 pass catchers instead of a receiver and a running back. Andy Reid. Okay, this is from Seth Keysor. Andy Reid really might Nuggets. There's video evidence of him doing it to Pat now, and people are ignoring it. End quote. Totally would believe it. What show is he saying this on, Seth?
Probably with Coward at this point. I mean,
but not on the Herd. Like it'll be like on like one of the podcasts.
Yeah, one of the variants. He'll eventually. I mean, the Ringer probably won't have him on because I think Simmons would burst into flame if they had someone related to Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, and they added AFC East now too, Seth.
Yeah, I love that Leave Mass says, quote, "They didn't let us play ping pong in the locker room at KC." And sometimes that modern Family Guy would come and everyone hated it.
Oh, this is a good contender. WWH commenter Draymond Green's podcast. That's 1,000,000% gonna happen at some point.
Seth absolutely. After episodes and episodes of us trying to convince him, Seth absolutely refuses how to pronounce that man's first name.
From Adam
Draymond?
Sheehan. Yes, Draymond.
What did I say?
You've called him Draymond for like years now. We keep trying.
What's he gonna do? Punch me in the face unprovoked?
Okay, thank you, Ice Spiral. Quote, the barbecue isn't even that good.
That's coming next. How has he not figured out yet what to do? Like, all he needs to do is
go to Joe's. He wanted to go to Nobu. He said that.
Oh, yeah, because he should say something like, honestly, I've got 3 better barbecue joints here in Miami than I ever had in Kansas City, and people would lose their minds.
Tucker, clip that.
And
wait.
And lastly,
stop using this medium to dunk on me, Josh. Good Lord.
And lastly, from Adam Sheehan, quote, "I would have already had my 2,000-yard season if it wasn't for Kelsey."
That's probably true.
Ooh, can I give you one more? Can I give you one more?
Sure.
I want one more.
The real architect of that offense was Eric Bieniemy.
What?
I could see him saying that.
Is he going to say that come February 10th when Eric Bieniemy still doesn't have a head coaching job?
Yeah, when he's going to end up being like an assistant to something in the Dolphins.
On Radio Row at the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
Anyway, I can't
book it.
I don't remember what I was going to talk about something related to the Chiefs, but they're going to be played. It was something with the offense. Oh, rookie breakout game.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. So, okay, this is actual analysis, I swear. So McCole Hardman's second through those 11 games, and he's actually not that far behind yardage-wise. And it was interesting, our colleague, Nick of Amateur Hour, who is the OG Chiefs podcast, he pointed out, he's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Didn't realize McCole Hardman was that productive in those first 11 games. The difference between what Rice has done and what McCole Hardman did is if you break down, like, of McCole Hardman's, it was like 450 yards, something like that, maybe close to 500, I don't remember. But like a third of it was in like 4 or 5 catches because he'd have some kind of, 60, 70 yard catch. And whereas Rashee Rice has done it a little more consistently, a chunk at a time, because apparently they can't target Rashee Rice farther than 5 yards down the field, or the entire place will collapse from underneath us, like in The Dark Knight Rises. And Andy Reid wants to keep the world safe, and I appreciate that. Is Seth the 7-foot row? Hey, what's happening in the comment section right now?
They're really funny. What's happening in the comment section?
Oh my goodness! All right, and yes, I'm taller than Clyde. Well,
I don't know.
But here's the thing. I'm about 5'9.5", maybe 5'10" on a real good day. I don't think Clyde's 5'8". So anyway, but so the thing with Rashee Rice, we've never had a rookie actually have like a 10 target, actual big part of the offense breakout game. So we don't know what the second week looks like with Andy Reid. What we do know is after 1 week, most NFL defenses aren't going to be like really adjusting what they do because of 1 week, generally speaking. So I would expect him to double down on it and see
decoy.
Oh gosh, I would be so angry.
It would be hilarious if he was like, "We're going to use you to be a decoy to get Sky Moore more touches.
Which, you know what? Sky Moore did the most with his touches. Hey,
He
target
did.
the man out of the
He
slot.
did.
Do a
I don't
little
know.
bit there.
He did.
His first big chop
Stop.
play was on that aforementioned 2nd and 21 or whatever it was, right? I mean,
You can only get the yards that are there, Josh.
he had great acceleration. And this hurts me to say, but my desire to speak to the truth is even stronger than my desire to defend this player. He dusted the 900-year-old ankles of Marcus Peters. I mean, he looked great doing it, but like I have been a defender of Marcus Peters for as long as time has ever gone on, and I hope he ends up on some other playoff contending team. I think it would be hilarious. But the whole Sky Moore did everything he could. It's like, well, it was like garbage yards, and then he cut Marcus Peters from the Raiders.
So
Get him the ball.
Look, guys, we all know where we were. And I'm not trying to get to like, has anybody watched the morning show? I'm not trying to make you revisit the worst parts of the pandemic. Huh?
Nothing.
Look, I'm not trying to tell you that I'm not trying to tell you that Raider Booth Ginsburg died. I'm not trying to tell you that Justice Ginsburg is died again. Okay, I'm not on the morning. Look, this is not the morning show. I'm not trying to tell you that Homegirl's brother was in the January 6th run. Like, what? I'm also not trying to tell you that, like, is he supposed to be Elon Musk? I guess he's supposed to be Elon Musk. I love John Hill. Why are they doing this to him? But I mean, him and Jennifer Aniston, fireworks. Anyway, all I'm trying to tell you guys is we all remember where we were in the pandemic when they gave Jordan Love's mom them tickets. And if you don't think this man,
holy crap!
If you don't think this man got that dog in him and it's not a revenge game, then you have been living under a rock. Okay, so I'm gonna tell Steve Spagnuolo right now, baby, you better bring it all back. Bring it all back. I want the same game plan because they ain't got it. They ain't got Devontae this time. Who he throwing to? Romeo Dobbs? Who he throwing to? Christian Watson, who I love and can't wait to see in person for the first time. My draft crush that never became a flame because I was denied from me. If you don't think this man needs to honor his mother in the most post-pandemic way, I don't know what y'all don't realize. I don't know. I mean, come on.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen when they showed his proud mother up there. Can
we put her in Rose Sky?
The seats were literally on the plus side. One might argue
clouds?
that
what
being able
section
to
is the clouds in? Can we
being
put her in
able
cloud?
being able to lean back against the concrete at the very back, it's like you have a chair, as opposed to literally anywhere else in Arrowhead.
Stop it, Seth.
Where someone would be sitting behind
He
you.
was the mother. Well, she still is the mother of an NFL starting quarterback. And this is what they did to him.
I watched him play that day. Let's be honest. At that point, he was not. You know what? He was.
It might be one of the most entertaining 13-7 games I've ever seen. Just
my
because
goodness!
of that side of the ball.
The Chiefs. That was when the Chiefs were in the middle of their 2021. They've forgotten how to offense phase, and that was like kind of actually for me the turnaround for that because Mahomes actually played pretty well, and everyone else played like garbage, which was funny, I guess. It wasn't great, but it was funny. And then on the other side of the ball was the most mean-spirited, genuinely mean-spirited game plan I've ever seen in my life. Like, I remember sitting there watching Steve Spagnuolo blitz Jordan Love into oblivion time after time after time, which is something we say all the time, but it's never really true. It's kind of like when you say like, oh man, I got my heart ripped out there. You don't actually mean you got your heart ripped out, but every now and then someone actually rips out your heart. And that's like, it was so bad. And I remember, I think I tweeted like in the middle of the game, like, Spags can't keep blitzing every down, right?
Sure.
And then,
keep thinking that.
Spags is saying like, well, why precisely not? Let's run it back. And so I think there's probably, because people reference that game. as like the meanest Spags game ever. So Jordan Love's got two reasons. For one, they insulted his mom, which is not great.
Not great.
And they made her watch from an incredible distance as her son just got humiliated. And so I'm really curious. I have no idea what Spags is going to do because they said some really... I love how Andy Reid low-key is like, oh, completely different player. He's playing well now. It's like, Andy, I don't think you understand.
Why you got to kill that man in front of everybody?
Yeah, he's a totally different person now. Completely 110% changed. He's a good man now. It's like, I think you're saying something about what he was then. So the Chiefs did her a favor, one of the commenters just said. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I have no idea what Spags might do because he's got a way better defense now.
This is a personal question, Josh.
By the way, those who are not watching this, Josh has given up.
Yeah,
the look on his face of resigned.
That obvious.
That's why I'm getting ready to ask this. Which part was it of the analogy that pushed you over the edge, Josh?
Here's what it was, Nate.
Okay, go ahead.
Honest to God, here's what it was. It was that we were really going to make an effort, and I think we are still making an effort to get this show done in 45 minutes. And,
it's not happening.
And I was about to say...
I love the morning show, by the way. We'll watch every episode, but go ahead.
At the 35-minute mark, I'm pointing to where the clock is in our thing. I don't know that other people can see this. But, Seth, this is where the clock is on our screen. Like where I'm pointing right here. You see
I know. I was trying to reach over and grab it, but...
Oh, yeah. I try to stop it all the time. I was about to say, well, so look, I mean, Tucker did just say in the chat, maybe Chiefs Packers, and we got about 10 minutes left. But before I could even rev up that take, you said, you guys see the morning show?
Yeah.
And I knew that it was going to be, and I'm looking now, a good 6 or 7 minutes before we got anywhere near 2023 Chiefs Packers. That was the plug coming out of the balloon, and I just had to deflate a little and just think, well, because 45 minutes was always a pipe dream.
I wasn't sure because, again, I didn't know. Look, a lot of
I haven't seen the morning show.
Oh, you really should. A lot of this is spontaneous, ladies and gentlemen. I want to be really honest with you.
Is that the show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon? Is that the one where there's a scene, because I read about this, where she's just like standing in front of a fridge and sighs, and a friend's like, what's the matter? She's like, I'm just thinking about the wildfires in California. Is that show?
It probably is that show.
Because that is the most, because I like, if it's too heavy-handed for television, that's incredible. Do you know how, like, the same people that like the Newsroom think that this show is too heavy-handed, and that's unbelievable.
Well, the
Sir,
Newsroom,
we want you to know that our troops, like, oh gosh. Sorry, Josh.
I think the Newsroom was a comedy show wrapped like coded in a drama, or the rapping was drama, but inside that little rapper is pure comedy.
Pure comedy.
Look, the reason why I say this show is very spontaneity and improvisation, I can't even speak, is because at no point today did I think I was going to say Ruth Bader Ginsburg into a microphone. Yeah. But here we are, Chiefs Packers.
Ruth Conda forever. No, Josh, lead us back. Chiefs Packers.
Oh, it seems like you guys have had a pretty good time hosting so far. Why don't you keep it up?
Wow, that manatee sounds exactly like Josh.
Look. I don't know who Spags is gonna put L'Jarius Sneed on. Maybe it's Christian Watson. Maybe
like Christian Watson, right?
Yeah, he's probably the most talented guy. Although Romeo Doubs continues to be jump ball winner guy.
Like Christian Watson's 2 inches taller, I think. Right? I know that's not the only metric there, but it's kind of.
Their offense is a bit weird. They still have obviously Aaron Jones, very good running back. They're like the funny part about this. You know who Ruth. Dang it, you know Ruth. Oh, look, I have to look at the comments. Okay, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was probably Scottie Pippen on the 1998 Bulls because the man's back broke in game 6, and they were like, "Why do you need the trainer right now? Get your butt back in there." We said this job was for life as long as Jordan is the player, coach, general manager. As long as 23 and 45 are on this uniform, get your ass back on that court. I don't care if your back's broken. We got to have somebody to guard, I don't know, Karl Malone and like Ostertag.
I forgot Greg Ostertag was on those teams.
Yeah.
Hot take. I don't think this is a team that L'Jarius Sneed should be shadowing anyone. Christian Watson, he's more of a deep threat type.
Yeah.
I think this is. I think you put a lid on it and you force him to show, because they've got a good offensive line. Force him to show that he can go through the reads and figure out Spags' disguises, and really sit back a little bit. Let Chris Jones do his thing. Now, is anything I'm saying going to happen? No, because it's Steve Spagnuolo, and he would never, ever, 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 ever do that. He did a little to Joe Burrow in the AFC Championship game for a little bit. It's kind of like for a while. You know what I mean? He's like, no, we'll lay back for like, guys, we're definitely going to lay back for like a drive or two. And then it's like when I tell Jazz that I'm dieting, you know? It's like, I am never eating a share-sized bag of peanut butter M&Ms again for like a day or two. Maybe.
Josh, welcome to Lambeau Field. I am apparently the play-by-play man. Mike Tirico's sick. And Chris Collinsworth couldn't make it for some reason.
Jason Garrett could do it, so can you, man.
Josh, what are the keys to the game?
What are the keys?
The Chiefs just need to limit their turnovers and their penalties. I think they're going to be okay. The offense has just been off a tick a little bit, just something to keep working on. Mahomes is going to keep firing for sure. This Chiefs defense is really good. Seth wrote about the Chiefs defense. That was interesting. You can read it on the newsletter if you want. Do you know that Josh Jacobs had 8 carries for 16 yards in the second half, and Devontae Adams didn't catch a pass in the second half? I think the Chiefs defense is still good. I'm brave enough to say it.
And we'll go now to studio, where instead of Maria Taylor, we have Seth Keysor. Seth, give us your prediction. Chiefs, Packers. I need to put the logo at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead.
Hi, Nate. I was supposed to talk to Andy Reid right before this segment, but he wouldn't talk to me. So what Andy Reid said to me during that pretend conversation was that actually, if he would just throw the ball to Rashee Rice a little more, good things would happen. However, Matt Nagy really gets upset if not everyone gets a bite of a pack of gum. And so I think everyone's going to get at least 2 targets.
What's the score? We need to put the logo at the bottom of the screen.
Oh gosh.
Preferably we all pick the same team so we can get dunked on Twitter and other social media after the game.
Oh good Lord.
What's your score graphic say, Seth?
My graphic says I think the Chiefs offense found a little something, and I think it's a little early for teams to necessarily be adjusting to kind of a little more under center, a little more 12, a little more Rashee Rice.
Really small.
Looking for that prediction. Looking
Nobody
for that.
in the world is funnier than an irritated Josh Brisco.
Nobody.
Hands down, nobody in the world is funnier than a slightly irritated Josh Brisco, where he's just like, I just want to kill someone.
Is it a Chiefs logo or a Packers logo? Can you tell me? I'm still looking for it. Still looking for it. That car commercial's coming up. Okay.
It's a Chiefs logo.
Yeah, we gotta find out about Toyotathon or Happy Honda Days, or I don't know who's who. Somebody used to have those like little highlight packages of some random high school team.
Adam Sheehan asks, "Is the logo in the room with us?" We brought our listeners with us. This is bad, guys. We've descended into the abyss. The Packers defense,
but also good.
Yeah, it's also good. The Packers defense is fine, but nothing too special. Jordan Love's been fine this year. He hasn't been like special though. That is one thing. Like the pendulum's kind of swinging on Jordan Love a little bit, where it's like, because he was pretty bad, now it's like, oh, hey, he's playing pretty well. But, we'll see. A lot of talent, can make some good throws. I'm curious. Spags is going to try to run back the Spags treatment a little bit just to see what he can do with it. I like the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs by a full touchdown or more. I think the offense stays on track. I think it's the week after this week. I know the Patriots are terrible, but I also know that Belichick does adjust to what teams are doing. I want to see how teams start responding to more Rashee Rice in a week or two, because that's the big test for a rookie, especially when they start getting larger volume and teams start limiting the things that they do well. can you do a few other things well? And that's a bit, it's like, oh, wow, like, okay, we definitely need to defend drag routes. I mean, okay, so what can you run that's built off of that? And so those will be the things to watch for. Blake Johnson said, show us on the notepad what your prediction is. We've just dragged listeners into the abyss with us, and I'm not proud. Well, I'm a little proud. Like, I'm not proud.
It's nice not to be here alone.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like with us doing the show this way, it's different than when this would happen on Times Ours, when it felt like I was swirling through a toilet and no one could save me. And now it's
But
like
you
I'm
asked
swirling.
for this.
Now it's like I'm swirling in a toilet, and there are hundreds, if not thousands, of fans and listeners and beloved Chiefs fans who have also been sucked in here with us. And
Look,
I feel less alone, but more responsibility.
Yeah, no one. No, by the way, of the three of us, no one wanted us to do video more than Josh. Okay, so he got his wish. Is all I'm saying. You pray for things and God provides. Maybe not how you want it or how.
Yeah. Sometimes you know what you should fear more than God saying no when you pray, that He might say yes.
But how He says yes, you have to be a devoted, Christ-like individual to go through some of the paths that He creates that you thought you were sure of, but but now it's now it's put in front of you, and you need to be a light. Josh, is what we're asking. We need you to be a light for the Lord,
Let your light shine,
and understand that when you pray for this to happen, that He didn't give you more than you can't deal with. Okay, that's always the case. Always remember that.
You wouldn't put that light under a shade or not place it on a hill.
I feel like I'm under a bushel right now. Really, that's where I feel like I am. I feel like sometime before Christmas we need to do a black and white episode where I have wished that I wasn't ever born, and just call it "It's a Wonderful Podcast." And then you guys just do a whole show without me, but I sit here with my mic muted for an hour, just black and white, and I just watch it, and you can see me get increasingly horrified until an old man with wings comes in and rings a little bell. And I think I got the order wrong, but I've seen It's a Wonderful Life many times. I feel like this is a pretty good idea.
Hey,
Renee's an old maid. She's closing down the library, et cetera, et cetera.
Jazz left me 5 years ago because I'm significantly less happy because the show, all we talk about, Chiefs football. Oh, the Apple reviews of some people would be pristine. This show does nothing but talk Chiefs.
Yeah, I think that's really self-aware, Seth, that you would look at how this show today has gone and be like, you know why we didn't talk Chiefs? Josh.
Hey.
Oh,
I say my graphic says 23-13 Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's what it's just the logo, and it just says 23-13, and it's ready for old takes exposed.
Chiefs 28, Packers 23.
Chiefs 34, Packers 17. We are back, baby. We are back. I'm the only one, by the way, predicted a double-digit win for the Chiefs, if you'll recall. If you recall. Now, we don't need we don't need a repeat of last year's AFC Championship game show, do we, fellas? Do you really need to be reminded who knows ball here?
Yes.
I may not.
Yes.
Well, eventually I'll have to remind you because I certainly haven't done anything to demonstrate it during this show.
I think it makes sense that my worst show was the day I got back from vacation, but I don't know what your guys' excuse is.
I don't know. It's kind of a bad day. I'm a little tired.
Yeah, me too. You know what's would make your day not bad? Supporting the Soul of KC raffle. You can check all that out. I gave all the links earlier, and you can check it out across the KCSN social. But givebutter.com/KCSN Soul or Venmo at KC Sports Network. Great prizes. It all benefits Operation Breakthrough. The drive at the end is going to be amazing. And just most importantly of all, keep in mind, you're not giving money because today's show was good. That's not what we're asking you to do, and you should know that. We're asking you to help KCSN support an awesome cause, completely unrelated to the quality of today's episode.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you chose to use this format. Lastly, A few more quotes from Tyreek Hill on a public consuming medium of some kind in the near future. Quote, if Mahomes was on the same caliber as Tua, we'd have won Super Bowl 55.
No, that's not real.
Quote, all I wanted was to be invited to hang out with Taylor Swift. And once Trav left me out of the group text, I decided it was time to look elsewhere. And lastly, quote, the Usain Bolt drama really hurt the team in the AFC Championship game against the Eagles. Everyone was talking about it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a podcast for you, for us, and not for Jordan Love's mom.
I know the commenters are doing good because I thought at least the first one was absolutely legit.
I've got another quote. They have taken the bridge in the second hall. Drums, drums, they are coming. That's weird that Tyreek Hill would say that.